So my name is Chandish. I am from Andhra Pradesh and I have done my BE Honours from BITS Pilani in Mechanical Engineering. After that I have worked for 3 months in Indian Information Service in the year 2018 and later I was recruited into Indian Police Service in December 2018 and I have been allotted Tamil Nadu cadre, sir.
Indian Police Service through the UPSC?
Yes, sir.
And so was Indian Information Service?
Yes, sir.
Same. So when did you first appear in UPSC?
Sir, it was in the year 2016, sir. I passed out in 2015 from BITS Pilani, sir.
BITS Pilani, 16 you appeared for Civil Services?
Yes, sir.
And you got Indian Information Service?
Yes, sir.
17 you appeared, you got Indian Police Service?
Yes, sir.
And now, what is your aspiration?
So, Indian Administrative Service, sir.
Why?
So primarily 3 reasons, sir. My role model from childhood has always been Mr. Shankaran, sir, who is an IAS officer from Andhra Pradesh cadre. So he has brought great changes in Andhra Pradesh, especially for the welfare of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. So he was always my inspiration, sir. And also IAS offers me a lot of time in policy making as well, at the level of policy making, not only in execution. And the third reason being IAS has a lot of scope and diversity, sir. So these are the reasons why.
Police, you get a whole lot of time in policy making. You could join the Home Ministry in the policy. You could be doing anything. Even you could head one of these
parliamentary forces also.
IB, CBI, law, where policy making is. The policy making is same in everything. You join army also, you get an opportunity to work. So.
Yes, sir. But administrative service, you work in various fields like farmers, and you also work in fields like education and health sectors, which I think I cannot get an opportunity while being in this sector, sir. As you have said, I agree that policy making is there in the police services also, but I think because of the fields which are more diverse and I'm more interested, I think I would like to join India Administrative Service, sir.
Now tell us about some of the awards you got. Why, how and what you felt about them? The leadership, where were they?
So the first award I got was Chitrat Dagar Memorial Award for Best Outgoing Student from BITS Pilani, sir. It's annually given to one student who has excelled in academics, leadership and also social activities, sir. And the second award I got is by the Alumni Association of BITS Pilani, which has given Mantra Award for Outstanding Leadership, sir. I got this award mainly for the work I have done in the mess system. BITS Pilani has given me the opportunity to lead a mess system which has 200 employees, and I was also the signator and manager for many mess accounts up to 12 crores. Sir. At a young age I got a lot of opportunity in dealing on behalf of BITS Pilani with multinational companies like Sodexo and also employees issues, where I have brought some I have streamlined many processes in that system, sir. That was the reason why I have got this award.
And what's your opinion on the current budget? Mr. Gone through it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, it has some good initiatives for farmers, sir, especially for the small and marginal farmers, because they are in a great crisis situation. And also the pension scheme which the government has brought out is a very good scheme, because India still continues to have more than 90% in the unorganized sector. And for the average middle class families also, tax breaks have been there, and that is also a good initiative, sir. And
what will be the implication for the Indian economy as a whole?
Sir, in the short run, definitely I think some inflation would be there, because it leads to more funds, and also fiscal deficit has been expanding. We could not meet the targets still.
So what is the target? What could we not meet?
So earlier we had fiscal 2001 Act, sir, but now we have opted for N.K. Singh committee recommendations. So according to that we have...
The last 2 budgets, government gave out some targeted figure that this will be our target for fiscal deficit.
Yes, sir.
What was it? What will be the implication of this budget?
So government had given the target of 3%, sir. Last year it was 3.4. We did not achieve that, and even this year it's predicted to be 3.4, sir. Because fiscal deficit, if we cross the fiscal deficit, rating agencies like Moody's and other companies, other agencies might downgrade India.
So, what will be the implication of this budget on fiscal deficit? How much will it go up by how many points?
So 3.4%, sir. That's what the government has predicted for financial year 2018-19, sir. Sorry, 19-20, sir.
Okay. Now, What's your opinion on Northeast as a part, Northeastern India as a part of this country? Implications on development, security, relations, whatever. Just give a small brief.
So being a student of anthropology, so we have dealt with the tribes in the Northeast in considerable detail, sir. Northeast is a rich source of India's culture because of diverse tribal cultures, sir. And also, there are some security issues which are still prevailing in that, mainly because tribals since a long time have been alienated and they were managing themselves. Because the government of India has come, there have been some issues, sir. For example, the Nagalim demand continues to persist. And also in states like Tripura, they are asking for Tripura land, especially for the tribals of Tripura. And the borders are also still agitating.
For cutting you short,
Yes, sir.
what is the strategic importance of Northeast India?
Sir, when we see Northeast India, sir, it has borders with many countries. When we look at Bangladesh, it has border, and also with countries like China, Myanmar. So there's a lot of migration, illegal migration also coming in, and also especially for border management, it's a very crucial and significant issue, sir. And also when we look at the area, there's
Yeah, if I tell you, give me one strategic importance of Northeast, what will it be? The uppermost, the highest priority stuff.
So I think with respect to China, sir. With respect to China,
How is it connected with the rest of India?
the chicken's neck, which we,
What is that chicken neck?
so the small area near Sikkim and West Bengal border, which is,
That's the main strategic importance of Northeast,
thank you, sir.
which must come as first. It's a region with all that, whatever you said, but it is connected with rest of India through this corridor of 20 odd kilometers, plus minus. But its border, international border and the LAC with other countries, something like 4,700 kilometers. So, if somebody catches me by the neck, my body is gone. Right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, single most strategic importance is that, and then others are all add-ons.
Okay, sir.
And a part of that border with other countries is with China, who is our what? Who is our what?
Not,
Fill in the blank. Huh.
who is a neighbor with which we have some issues, sir.
Very good. Who is our competitor? A growing mighty power.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
And with whom we have outstanding territorial dispute.
Yes, sir.
He is a competitor in the economic and strategic and international arena, but we have territorial disputes. Once you have a territorial dispute with someone, the person can take the liberty of fingering you. If it is an international border, then, right? So that is all. And what is the implication of BIMSTEC? You know what is BIMSTEC?
Yes, sir.
Vis-a-vis SAARC.
So BIMSTEC is unique in the sense it
What's the full form of BIMSTEC?
Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Economic and Technical Cooperation, sir.
Absolutely.
So BIMSTEC is unique in the sense because of its membership, sir. It's like a gateway between ASEAN countries and SAARC countries. And also BIMSTEC focuses on many sectors which are vital for India. For example, tourism and also border disaster management. So firstly, it's a bridge between the two, sir, and also we are facing a lot of issues in SAARC which are not there in BIMSTEC. BIMSTEC is relatively more peaceful. And the Prime Minister had also given an impetus to the organization. So I think in the future we have great prospects for BIMSTEC, sir.
Also, the Northeast India becomes
Yes,
the
sir.
launchpad for relationship with BIMSTEC to some extent.
Yes, sir. It will help in the growth of Northeast, sir. Yes, sir.
It can.
Yes, sir.
It can. If you do a thing like Prime Minister has said a couple of times that Northeast will be the launchpad for BIMSTEC. Okay. Now, what assess the current socio-political economic situation of this country in say 3, 4, 5 sentences and some key things which can lead to our desired goals.
So when we come to the political aspects, sir, since we are having elections and many surveys have put it that we may not have a majority government this time. So there might be some political instability which is in cards, especially when coalition government is there, different parties come together. And second one, so agrarian crisis continues to be there in India. When we look at farmers, especially farmer suicides in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana also. And the third one is Northeast, security issues continues to prevail, sir. That is another roadblock which we have. And fourth one, sir, inequalities have been growing in India. The Gini index has been rising at a rapid rate, and also recent Oxfam report has also suggested that. And social issues, sir, there have been some communal issues across the country, and for electoral benefits, few people have been raising some tensions. So that is also another issue which is there. And fake news is another problem which is still pursuing, and it's a very big challenge in this digital world, sir.
So what's the way forward?
So way forward, firstly is ensuring that market reforms are there for farmers, which will only ensure that development of farmers will be there. That is one, sir. And second one is border management. We need to use the technological tools which can help in border management. And third one, for resolving the issues in Northeast, sir, we need a better perspective from anthropologists, sociologists, involving them also to understand the actual problems of tribals and also the people there.
And what you find security problem only in Northeast and not in J&K?
No, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. That is also a very major problem. I missed that.
Okay, if I tell you to sum up national security in one word, what will that word be? And why?
Critical.
Just one word in which I want you to sum up national security. What will, okay, take it 2, 3 words, 4 words. What will be those key issues and why?
So key issues is extremism in Jammu and Kashmir, sir. Left-wing extremism.
National security.
Yes, sir. It is a security issue. And left-wing extremism in the central part of India, which is still there. And
Again, I'll just cut you short. If it was me to answer, if you tell me sum up national security in one word, I'll say economy. Right? National security
sir.
involves much more than extremism and all. These are law and order problems. The other one will be border management problem. Right? National security means I should feel the will of my country, of the government of the country is able to prevail and even also influence the policies that it so wants to do in its immediate neighborhood or internationally, right? A secure nation. So security, national security includes military security, food security, border management, law and order, there's 20 subjects. So if I have a strong economy, I can do everything else. If I do it in one word. If I have to do it in 2 words, I would say, this is my mind and don't quote it anywhere. It is economy and governance. If you have a strong economy with good governance, FDI will come, everything will happen, and there will be a cycle of positivity. And then you say, okay, 1% of my GDP will get me 2,000 aircraft, 20,000 tanks, whatever I want. That is why my concept is, if I have to sum up national security in one word, it's economy.
yes,
Right?
thank you, sir.
And if I have to sum it in 2 words, economy and governance. If I have perfect governance and if I have a very robust economy, people will be happy and others will be. Yeah, good. So,
Mr. Chandris, I have a question to ask you. And this is, you know that you are joining the services while at a time when there are huge global developments taking place. You know, our country is getting integrated into and sucked into a globalized economy. Right? Where do you see the role of the civil servant? You know, in fact, it is diminishing. Many of our activities are getting outsourced. So I'm a little skeptical about your claims that you will be involved in policy making. Whereas even internally, you may know, or you may not know, maybe when you become a senior officer, you will get to know, that much of the policy making role is also being outsourced to lawyers, by the way. Politicians, bureaucrats have no role in that. The lawyers call the shots, and they have no relationship with the government whatsoever. How do you respond to that?
Sir, I'll say that the role has been changing, especially because we need more specialist advice in policy making. But I still think that civil servants definitely have a key role, sir. When we look at Andhra Pradesh, for example, many civil servants have worked to bring out a very business-friendly policy, which has attracted FDI from across the world. So I think it is one area where civil servants can still continue to work. And also in foreign service, when we become foreign servants or diplomats, civil servants have a key role in ensuring good relations between countries where we do not have good relations. Like,
No, but business is not the answer to everything, right? I mean, I'm somewhat tempted to ask you, okay, about something else that you may have thought of, and especially given your commitment to join the civil services, is the whole aspect and the possibility of what we lack in today's country, in our country today, is the whole question of ethical leadership. Do you think it exists? If it doesn't, how do you think you can bring it about?
so ethical leadership is the key, especially in civil service, because we still continue to rank low in various international indices like corruption index. And also empathy is another issue which is not prominently found today. So these are some issues we definitely need, sir. And ethical leadership, there is some deficit, and if you have to improve that, we need training sessions, sensitization campaigns, even mid-career training programs, which can help us in bringing more awareness of civil servants, and also recruiting young, sir. This is,
But you're also a student of anthropology.
Yes,
and
sir.
you also know the difference between an anthropological understanding of gift taking and modern notions of corruption. How do you distinguish that?
so in anthropological notions, it's regarding the community, sir. A gift is taken because of community welfare, but the gift which in corruption which happens, it's self-aggrandizement, sir. So I think both are poles apart, which cannot be
So,
compared, sir.
How would you explain when people gift others during Diwalis, both with an anthropological explanation and a modern explanation? How do you differentiate those two things? You know, the same phenomenon, how can you have two different explanations of it?
So if gifts are exchanged within family members or within extended family, I will say those can be called as gifts, sir.
Supposing it goes out to the professional circles,
Sir,
then how would you?
then there should be a limit, sir. There should be a limit of gifts. You cannot give costly gifts which are
Costly. Okay.
masqueraded.
That's a good one. But where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line?
So like the All India Civil Services rules say amounts like 5,000 or 10,000, which are there in the rules. I think that can be a good line. Where,
Does it also mean to say that you send out a signal that anything up to this is all acceptable? Please bring it.
so it doesn't say that, sir. It does not say that, sir, but it's an option which
What
can be
message
availed, sir.
would you like to give?
Yeah.
If you have to 5,000, I'll accept. If you have to give up a message, what message will you give?
Sir, I'll say that gifts can only be in the form of bouquets or books which I can donate to others. Or
Then I suggest, I shall not accept gifts,
okay, sir.
right? Yet, there will be an odd chap whom you can't say, I will not accept gift from my juniors, subordinates and businessmen. Your senior comes, hug him and take the most costly gift from him. Right? I can assure you, once you make this rule very clear, displayed well to everyone, otherwise up to some limit is not an answer.
Okay, sir.
Right? Then it just,
Rapid fire.
Okay, sir.
Reason for splitting of Andhra, in your point of view, into two states, the latest division which we saw. What were the core issues? How will you resolve if you are an IS? Core issues, just 2 points.
So development deficit in Telangana, jobs for the Telangana people, and also the investments in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana region, sir. These were the 3 core issues during the division. And to resolve them, sir, if I would have been an IS officer, I would have ensured that more projects come up in the Hyderabad region. Not the problem in Telangana is only Hyderabad is developed, sir. When we look at the districts, other districts in Telangana, they're backward. So we will try to ensure that the development is decentralized and more companies and factories come up in other regions as well, apart from Hyderabad, sir.
Okay, one. Regarding your project, you said in Sodexo you did a lot of work where you got the leadership award also. Again, for blue collar, what were the 3 challenges or problem identified by you
So first one was there was no performance appraisal for them, sir. Their salaries for blue collar workers, their salaries were stagnant, sir. So they were not motivated enough. And the second one is there were also some issues with respect to their regularization. So many of them were employed on contractual basis. And the third one is the relations between we students and the employees. There were some issues, sir. Some court cases were going on with respect to the salaries, wages, etc. So that also we try to resolve by having some confidence building activities, giving them, like we spoke to the alumni, sir, BITS alumni, and we got a 50 lakhs fund to fund their education for their children, sir, employees of mess workers. So this helped us build the trust that students are indeed working for them.
Do you agree that these three problems across India are existing for blue collar force in any stream you talk about, maybe education, maybe police, maybe IS, or maybe anywhere? Are these three issues relevant?
Yes, sir, very relevant because labor issues are continuing to persist.
Why are they persistently disturbing us for the last 70 years? Reason? You're an anthropological student. What are the reasons?
So one reason is cost of living had become very high, sir, and their wages have not risen proportionately.
Let's talk about cultural problems. Cost of living is going high all over the world. But what were the specific things in Indian context? Why this blue collar force is getting neglected across the board? Any stream you touch, industry, service, anything. Why?
It's because I think, I'm not very sure, sir, I think it's because of the profits motive of corporates. Corporates are more interested in profits rather than the welfare of...
All right, corporates, and what about the state governance or the central governance? Were they neglected?
There have been many labor laws, sir, but there have been multiplicity of labor laws for them, which have not benefited the corporates and which have not benefited the labor also to a great extent.
So, law needs to be simplified for implementation, co-opting everything. And who educates them? None. The blue collar force only pops pink, blue tablets and all kinds of, Hakim and Vaid. And you agree with me? Housing is a problem with them. Sanitation is a problem with them. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is a problem by them, for them. You will not find such solutions, right? You agree with me or not?
So there are some issues because awareness has not been, communication has not been good, sir.
Okay, sir. Next, you said you want to shift from IPS to IS because you want changes in education system.
Yes, sir.
3 changes.
So first,
Quick. Bilkul simple. No need to explain. Yeah. Really.
so firstly, I would like to address the teacher absenteeism in primary education, sir.
Okay, like
Teacher absenteeism is
absenteeism.
sir.
Okay.
That must be addressed. And the second one is more impetus to technological factors in education system, sir.
Okay.
And the third one would be changes in curriculum also, sir. Curriculum has not been modified often, and this is one area where we can work and ensure that happiness curriculum which has been brought in Delhi.
Not understood. First 2 are understood. Third is not understood.
So like,
Changes. What kind of changes to make them happy?
so one is having better sports facilities, and also one more thing like having, sorry sir, I'm not able to tell exactly.
Now, first change you suggested was
Teacher absenteeism, sir.
What can you do? Why are they absenting themselves from their job? Reason?
So many people are involved in private other activities, sir, private tuitions, and the second one is the location, accessibility.
We do that why analysis only. Why are they doing tuitions?
So because they feel their wages are low, sir.
That's the they are being treated like blue collar force. Right, sir?
Yes.
So I only have to say, final question from my side. You're an anthropology student.
Yes.
Very interesting. From Homo sapiens, ये जो variety थी, they were the smartest compared to Homo erectica or caveman, or you must.
Yes, sir.
How this concept of brown race, black race, white race, yellow race came up, and what solution is this in our present context? It is getting complicated. From Andhra to Telangana to Andhra, and Punjab into Himachal into Haryana. Now, what is the end? अगले 40 साल आपके हाथ में कंट्री की बागडोर होगी. What is the solution to resolve this?
So firstly, we need to tell to the people the difference between race and racism, sir. While race is a biological concept, which is because of the changes in environmental conditions. The environmental conditions in South India are different from North India. So the body has taken such an adaptation, and that is the reason for color differences and other feature differences between the people across the world, sir. It's mainly because of environmental differences and genetic differences, adaptation, natural selection. But racism, which is a myth, because it says that there is a hierarchy of races among the people, and different races are, some are superior, some are not superior. So I think we need to address this at a priority basis. First, create awareness among the people, and also at the policy level, implementation level also. We must take strong note of this when such racial incidents happen, and at the political level and also at the civil servants level.
How is Japan implementing this system of, I rather like to oppose your view, counter your view. How are they implementing for the last 2,500 years with 133rd generation now in progress? आप कहते हैं खत्म कर दो एक class system. How are they into the king and the samurais and the, कैसी है?
I'm not aware of it, sir.
Okay.
Is race a neutral category? As anthropologists, do you see any future of research, or do you want to encourage research on race further without succumbing to constructions of racism?
Yes, sir. Especially in anthropology, we read about races, and also race has a genetic context, sir. So when we have more research into races, human history, how migrations have happened, who are the earliest humans, and other, a lot of facts regarding the migrations and also intermixing of races, sir. So I think definitely we need research on races, especially for our scientific fields.
Jagdish, sorry.
Yes, sir.
My final thing, you addressed enough. I think we gave you enough. एक मेरे को बताइए, you are a role model for me from the young generation, a person who has cracked IAS thrice, topper, a leadership medalist, gold medalist. What are the 5 USPs of your generation, and what are the 5 weaknesses which you have to address? ये बड़ी जबरदस्त चीज है जो गवर्नमेंट बनाती है, वो गवर्नमेंट बिगाड़ती है. दिल्ली में बैठे बैठे ना तो वोट के ऊपर ना पार्लियामेंट में बैठते हैं. ये वो जनरेशन है जिसने एक इंटरव्यू लेके खत्म कर देना उसको बंदे को. They have very strong power, maybe in business, maybe in media, maybe in bureaucracy. They make or break the governance without any much say in governance or much attachment to what is happening. 5 मेरे को USPs बताइए अपनी generation, 5 points which you think they need to improve.
So USPs means strengths, sir?
Yeah, their strengths. Yeah, 5 strengths, 5 weaknesses of your generation. That I'm not talking about blue collar. Top of the जिसको बोलते हैं आप, cream of the क्या था ये? Cream of the society.
So first strength is they're very dynamic, sir. They're willing to take up any type of challenges.
Okay.
And the second one is, I think, their open-minded nature, open-minded
Okay.
for taking any suggestions also. And the third would be can I take some time to think?
Please.
Tech savvy,
Yes, sir.
the more tech savvy,
Give
right?
your original. Yeah.
Right. You belong to the same field.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
And tell the weaknesses.
So weaknesses first is impatience, sir. Even today they are very impatient. And second one is they are not able to take failures, sir. Many of them are bogged down by failures. This is one thing which I have observed. And the third one is they are easily diverted. That is one more aspect which I have
Related
seen.
to their impatience.
And lack of accommodating or flexibility and accommodation and inflexibility. आपके वर्तन भी somebody is waiting now.
So this, my question is to you that have you heard about Yuval Noah Harari?
Yes, I heard of him, sir.
So who is he?
So he has written a book, Homo Sapiens. Homo
Homo
sapiens.
sapiens or
Homo Deus, he has written 2 books, sir.
sapiens?
Yes,
The evolution
Sapiens.
of humankind.
Sorry, sir. Thank you, sir.
So have you read that book? You gone through?
No, sir. I did not read. I have not gone through it, sir.
You must go through that. It's a very nice piece of writing. Okay, fine. So tell me one thing. What is common between you, Chandrasekhar Rao, and Chandrababu Naidu?
Common bit. Sir, all of us are in public service, sir.
So whom do you say most promising one out of the 3?
So, our Chief Minister, Telangana's Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao is doing a lot of good work, sir, with good schemes like Mission Bhagiratha, the Raitu Bandhu scheme, which the nation is talking about. And Chandrababu Naidu, who is the CM of Andhra Pradesh, he has developed Andhra Pradesh as a software hub. So he also has done great work, and I will also in the future do a lot of good work. So I think all the 3 of us,
Have a bright future.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, my next question to you is that since you've talked about Right to Bandhu scheme,
Yes, sir.
so can you tell me what are the flaws in this scheme? Positives, we do talk about it, that it is one of the major schemes launched by Telangana government. But do you have any idea about that? What are the flaws in this scheme?
Yes, sir. I have an idea about them,
Tell
sir.
me.
So the major issue with it is Telangana still has 40% tenant farmers, sir.
Yeah.
All of them are excluded in the Raitu Bandhu scheme, sir. And the second one is subsidies, to, the payments to the rich, sir. There are many people who are owning 50 acres, 60 acres, and they are also being paid the same amounts as the marginal, small and marginal farmers, sir. So these 2 are the major issues in this scheme, sir. And the third one is, unlike the direct benefit transfer, they are paying through checks, which has also been an issue because there have been some wrong transfers and wrong check payments, sir. These are the 3 major issues which are there in the scheme, sir.
Fourth would be perhaps that they will be getting extra advantage after having PM Kisan.
Yes, sir. They get a double benefit.
They will be getting a double benefit.
Yes, sir.
After being here?
After having this PM Kisan scheme, they will be getting double benefit.
No, that's fine. The state has its own liberty to give.
So that's another benefit for you. Okay, fine. So tell me one thing, that why did you opt anthropology? Was there any special interest?
Sir, I was interested in biology in my 9th and 10th classes. I wanted to become a doctor, but I could not. So I thought anthropology is a subject which tells you about biology, and it tells us about ourselves, humans as a whole, our culture, our customs, our tribals. So it was very interesting field, sir. I chose it just because it was interesting.
Can you give us some idea that how did Harappans look like?
Look like, sir.
What was their perhaps body posture, facial expression, also the face of the Harappans? Can you have some idea?
So there are still some controversies going on in the Harappan man, how he has been and how he was there, sir. But recently some fossils have been found in Raki Gadi in Haryana. So according to that, they were moderately built, sir. The average height was around 5'6" to 5'7", and they were looking like the modern Rajput area and the Punjab province area, sir. They had facial similarities with these people.
So any researches going on that?
Yes, sir. Currently, a lot of research is going on, sir, because they found some fossils and they have been sent to genetic analysis, which will tell us about the racial features of Harappans, sir.
Right. So my last question to you is that have you heard about gold collar jobs? Gold collar jobs.
Yes, sir. I heard of them, sir.
So what are that?
Like top consulting companies jobs and also top research jobs and civil services where we are involved at the highest levels. I think these are some gold collar jobs.
Talking about the cyber experts, basically.
Okay.
So, do you think that cyber security has become a major challenge for India these days?
Yes, sir.
What all measures have been taken to address that?
So one, cyber police stations have been set up across the country, sir. And also at the national level, CERT, Computer Emergency Response Team, has been set up. And also government is also looking into setting up new agencies like Cyber Terrorism Agency, NCCC, National Cyber Coordination Center. So these are some new initiatives which are coming up, sir. And in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, the government is doing a lot in promoting cybersecurity awareness to all the youth and also the technology users, sir.
So where are still missing, I mean, in cybersecurity?
So one area we are missing is the number of experts, sir. The cyber technology experts is there's a big shortfall. And the second one is also the resources. So today everyone is a content creator, everyone is using internet. The number of users have been increasing, but the number of people who regulate, who check them are declining. So in an age where everyone is a content creator, I think it's a very big challenge for us, sir.
And what about the level of awareness among the people regarding the use of cyber?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Even awareness is quite low, sir.
Infrastructure.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
You're from Telangana?
Yes, sir.
Warangal is there?
Yes, sir.
It's in Telangana.
It's in Telangana itself.
How, I'm from Punjab. So how Kohinoor establishes a relation between you and me? Telangana and Punjab.
Sir, Kohinoor was mined in the Telangana region, sir. It has come from the Golconda mines. So it has that link. And to Punjab, I'm not very sure, sir, but if you permit me, I can guess. I think because the throne having Kohinoor diamond was taken to Punjab and ultimately it has gone to Britain. I think it's because of that reason. I'm not very sure, sir.